What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. In today's video, we're taking a look at a triple monkey themed team, looking like some fun spice in the Great League in Legend Elo here, run by ZT Smith 22. Appreciate you, homie, for bringing these battles to the channel. Looking at Oranguru, Primeape, and Annihilape in the Great League. Fun team, and it actually did surprisingly well for this trainer. Also, I hope y'all had a great Go Tour weekend. As you can see, I went out, had a good time. Had no luck getting myself a good Palkia, and I got barely usable things for everything else, so I did not have very good raid luck. But hopefully you guys did. Let me know in the comments some of your wins from the weekend, and without further ado, let's get into the battles. I did get Giratina for the Great League, but unfortunately when I went to go play some games, the lag was so bad that we could not get any games done. So I'm hoping that maybe someday I'll be able to get some content out on Giratina, but anyway, we're get a Oranguru into the Gligar here. You have to stay in since we have fighters in the back. You can't let a flyer in the lead get to see the back line, otherwise it's just going to be a catastrophe. So making a lot of sense for ZT Smith to stay in here and go for that Trailblaze to ramp up the confusion damage. Able to take a Aerial Ace from this Gligar and then go for the foul play to try and get the KO here. If we can get rid of this Gligar, we're in good shape. Gligar goes down, and the opponent now has an Alolan Sandslash in the back, and unfortunately for this opponent, the Alolan Sandslash is not going to have anywhere else to go on this team, as the Primeape or Annihilape can come in and just absolutely destroy it. The opponent, however, has an Azumarill in the back, and now things are significantly less okay for this trainer. Gonna go for an Ice Beam, or Ice Punch bait here. Oh, this is risky, and the opponent actually shields it. That is massive. Able to get the shield there. You could not ask for a better opportunity. Now, you have the chance to land that Shadow Ball. The opponent goes straight for Play Rough, so if we're able to make sure we can get to a move before the opponent gets to those 5 bubbles for the next Play Rough, is it 6-5? 6 to the first, 5 to the second. Shadow Ball is going to do a lot of damage here to the Azumarill, but unfortunately not quite enough, and the opponent is left in the red. Now, thankfully, because of the fact that the Alolan Sandslash takes all that damage from counter, all we have to do here is get to a charge move, get into the Night Slash. Do we see a boost here, possibly? And can Primeape take a Drill Run from a Shadow Alolan Sandslash? Because the opponent will definitely be getting to a move here and they decide to just quit. I would have at least gone for the charge move first. Good game. Getting into the next battle here, pretty positive lead with Oranguru on the lead against a Cresselia. Able to go for the foul plays for super effective damage is a pretty nice thing to be able to do in this matchup, as the opponent essentially needs to go for Grass Knot or Moonblast. Neither one of those are particularly heavy-hitting moves from the Cresselia. And the other thing is that if the Cresselia throws on good timing, there's always going to be a confusion going through. So this is also worth noting, is that is chunking, even though it is resisted. The confusion damage is still going to add up quite a bit here. Opponent just going for Grass Knots here as the Oranguru goes for the foul play. I'm pretty sure that the Oranguru could probably win all even shields here, if I'm not mistaken. The opponent's Cresselia just going to let that go, and I think that there's a pretty good chance they may be weak in the back to fighting, because most teams, if you see something strong in the lead to fighting, there's a pretty good chance that in the back they may be weak to fighting, as they would typically want to draw out a there's a Carbink. So there's a very solid chance that this trainer is weak in the back to fighting, as they would typically want to use a anti-fighter in the lead, 2 things in the back that are weak to fighting, so that they can try to use one of those things to lure out a potential fighter in a bad matchup. But unfortunately for this opponent, I don't think that they had much of a expectation of being able to deal with these 3 monkeys here. Monkey See, Monkey Do, Monkey beat up Poliwrath. That's what I'm talking about. Poliwrath in the back. Now we're gonna go for the Ice Punch bait here, because the opponent does have Icy Wind and Scald on deck here and 2 shields. So there's a very solid chance they shield, just trying to get the debuffs off. Now we're just gonna see the swap into the Primeape here, leaving Annihilape for the Carbink that's in the back. Able to go for this Night Slash here, and that will bring this Poliwrath low or completely take it out, or get the shield. And now we're going to swap into the Annihilape here, and I think all we have to do at this point is just farm down and get the Shadow Ball off on the Carbink. Now, the only way the opponent could win this game is if their Carbink has a move loaded, but at this point, doesn't really matter, because the Shadow Ball on this Annihilape is going to win CMP, take out the Carbink, and that's going to be a good game. All right, getting into the next battle here. Oranguru into Shadow Swampert. This is a pretty neutral matchup, as the confusions do tear, but the opponent safe swaps in. Trainers, please I want you all to understand, you should never safe swap Alolan Sandslash or anything with a double weakness, because that's all that happens, right? You just lose your entire Alolan Sandslash, and you give the opponent a full free farm down. Like, you just gave up a whole shield for that. So when you're team building, try not to use a safe swap that requires you to safe swap something with a double weakness, because you're just asking for trouble. And that's just from my personal opinion. Obviously, y'all can do what you like, but that's just a really heavy recommendation from yours truly. Use a safe swap that's not double weak to something unless there's a very, very good reason for it, okay? So now we're going to have the opponent's Swampert going to go for a move here. You could just easily let this go and hope that Annihilate can take care of whatever's in the back and shield once to block at least one of these hydro cannons and be able to counter down the opponent. Not going to be able to get to another move here, thankfully. And it's Swampert, right? Like, you never know. And they just quit. So good game. All right. I don't know what was in the back. It's probably weak to fighting, though. All right. Next game, we got a really nice matchup here with a Lickitung in the lead. This is a very good matchup for Oranguru because it does resist the licks. Remember, normal double resists lick, this is ghost type, and psychic is weak to it. So put those two together and you have a single resist move. So now what we're going to see is this Oranguru go for the Trailblaze to start to ramp up the confusion damage. The opponent's not going to shield. It is a Lickitung, but now that they have Trailblaze, Oranguru is able to make a real mockery of Lickitung in this matchup because those confusions just keep going. And I think that you do have to shield. One of these two is going to have to shield. I'm pretty sure that Oranguru cleanly wins the zero shield matchup here. So the opponent is going to get sniped by the Primeape with red health, and now this Trevenant is going to come in. But the nice thing about Primeape is it hits hard, and it has coverage moves just for this Trevenant here. So opponent is going to take it, and then there's a boost on the Primeape, and Primeape's counters are chunking, and ZT Smith looks to shield up the Primeape and attempt to go for a farm down here, which is really, really interesting. I like this move a lot. And they have a Basti in the back. Get out of here, Wallface. Good game. Mantine in the lead in the next game here. We're keeping in, just like that Gligar lead from earlier, we're going to keep in the lead here with the Oranguru to try and whittle away at this Mantine to get rid of it before the opponent is going to be able to get their Mantine on the fighters, right? That's the number one thing. We want to keep the fighters away from the lead here. And mind me looking down at my phone as I'm doing Origin Palkia raids while I'm recording this because I still don't have a good one. I'm certainly not salty at all. Anyway, so a narrow loss by this matchup here. It's going to come down to the opponent if they decide to double shield or not here, because giving up one shield to this matchup is not ideal. But now the opponent does go down to one counter as they got very low. And we're going to have to see what the opponent has in the back. Again, are they weak to fighting in the back? Doesn't really seem like it, as they have a Serperior, but they do have the Ice Punch coverage on both of the apes in the back here to be able to handle that particular typing. So it would be rough to deal with an Aerial Ace here. And no shielding is definitely an interesting call here. Now, the opponent can Vine Whip down, but Primeape getting pretty close to being able to counter down itself. And now Annihilate can shield and just simply eliminate this Serperior from the game as the counter snuck through, and that will take it out. And the opponent's got a G-Fisk in the back. This is... Is this a video of things weak in the back to counter? Because that's what it feels like this whole video is so far. It's just, here's Oranguru, and opponent's getting destroyed by counter users in the back. But that's okay, because we like Primeape. Primeape's cool. So once again, we're going to see that Gligar lead. The opponent goes straight for the dig here. And then that is going to be really nice, because that shield on that dig, that extra damage is really, really helpful. Because it's also more energy that the opponents uses. It's definitely beneficial not to have to shield an Aerial Ace, because that would not do as much damage. And it costs a lot less energy than the dig. And the opponent just goes straight dig in this matchup, trying their hardest to land one here. And ZT Smith is going to load up this foul play and try to get the Gligar out of the game, which he does succeed. The opponent now comes in with a Poliwrath. That was a lot of damage for a confusion. And Annihilate comes in to get matched up against the Poliwrath. Now we have to call, is this the Icy Wind or is this a straight up Scald? Gonna go for the shield, and we do correctly shield up the Scald. Unfortunately, getting the attack drop here, but should hopefully be able to get to 2 Ice Punches to take out the Poliwrath here before they get to another move, even if it's an Icy one. They would have to go for a Scald at this point. But coming in with the Primeape here, seeing some value in the Annihilate as they swap out, take the Scald, one shot, oh my goodness, under my button, kaboom! And there's a Sandslash in the back. Now, this is it, it's over, take it. Alolan Sandslash in the back, kaboom! Taking him out. And that's going to be it for this here game. Good game, well played. Getting into the next game, we have the Alolan Sandslash on the lead. Safe swap this time into the Primate, dealing 2 counters of damage, and then we're going to go Night Slash into the opponent's Annihilate that they've counter swapped. So this is good, because now we've really effectively brought out one of the hardest Ansi fighters on the team, and this also means that you don't have to deal with the awkward matchup of Annihilate and baiting. Now, CMP is won by Primeape here. Interesting to note that Primeape actually seems to have a higher attack stat than Annihilate. I just did not know that before now. So, Shadow Ball is going to take out the Primeape, but the opponent undercharges it because they lose CMP, and they look to go for the one counter farm down here. Oranguru is going to pop back in, get some of these moves in, and honestly, unless it's Night Slash, and even if it's Night Slash, right, you don't really have to worry about it too much. It does quite a bit of damage, but it's not going to be so much damage that you have to shield it. So, saving 2 shields for Annihilate here, going to be able to fire off this foul play and swap right into the Annihilate and see if the opponent takes these counters on the chin as well. Opponent does not shield, and they almost lose their Sandslash, but you have to shield this because you don't know what's in the back yet. So we shield up, but the counter did go through, so the Alolan Sandslash gets taken out, and in the back, it is an Azumarill. Azumarill is not going to appreciate these Shadow Balls, but it's going to take 2 of them to make any meaningful progress into this matchup. So, opponent immediately decides to shield as they decide that this is the hardest hitting move left in the game. Little do they know Oranguru is packing Trailblaze, and I can already see a situation where this trainer decides to just come in with the, yep, there it is, come in with the Oranguru, go for the Trailblaze for that super effective damage, and going to be able to take out pretty much most of this, going to be able to take out most of the rest of this Azumarill here. There it goes. Dude, it's been a long 2 days. I've been grinding my face off all weekend, so forgive me. Opponent throws instead. Get it? Huh? Wait, what happened? What? What happened? Huh? Okay. There's a Steelix now. I didn't edit these. I think that they may have been slightly cut. When a battle might have been slightly cut. So anyway, there was a Pelipper in the lead in this game. I'm assuming that the last game was probably a win. I don't even know at this point. But we're going to see the Primeape now come into the Steelix and try to defeat it here with the Night Slash. Going to be able to take it out here, and the opponent is going to have to deal with it, but there's a boost, and oh, the Pelipper takes it out anyway. Now, we're going to have to see the Oranguru is probably going to have to come in here because it's really the only thing that can deal with the damage from the Pelipper. Does the Pelipper just go straight for the Hail Mary Hurricane here, or are they going to throw the Weather Ball? Opponent goes for the Weather Ball here, not bothering to go for that full sent Hurricane, and man, if they had gone for that Hurricane, that would have been something. That Annihilate would have been in big trouble. So now we're gonna. Ooh, there is that. What was that? What was that? What was that? Bastiodon. Oh, trainer, how could you? Oh, trainer, no, not in this house. You are going to get fully countered down by this. Annihilate is going to annihilate this Bastiodon. Flamethrower? Flamethrower who? That didn't do any damage. Opponent has not enough HP to withstand the might of Annihilate and his buddy Oranguru, and that counter is going to bring in some extra damage here, and that's going to bring it down into confusion range. That's a good game. Getting into the next battle against Sableye. This is a pretty awkward lead here, as the entire team doesn't really have very good play into Sableye because of that ghost typing, but mostly the dark typing, if I'm being honest. So going for a Night Slash here against the Talonflame, kind of hoping for that boost possibly. Maybe being able to get a boost here might be able to flip the matchup, but no boost here on the Primeape, unfortunately, this time. Now, I think that this is going to be important because we're going to have to go for a farm down here after the opponent gets boosted, and this is going to be very awkward. I'm very interested to see if this trainer can come out of this game with what's going on here, because this is awkward. Oranguru almost has to shield, and we shield and get the drop down on the screen. Flame Charge is going to ramp up the damage. Are they going to be able to confusion down before the opponent gets a move? Yes, they can, thankfully. But now, that means that Sableye is going to have to deal with these foul plays. They're going to be able to get 2 foul plays off, hopefully, it looks like, before the opponent should be able to get a move off. And we just see a shield here, and the opponent does win CMP. This is very, very awkward. I don't really know how we're able to make out of this one unless the opponent is just dreadfully weak in the back to the Annihilate here. I don't know, man. We're going to have to see what happens. Now, the opponent does not shield that second move, and Oranguru is staying and trying to catch the foul play. Oh, but unfortunately not going to happen. The opponent goes for a bunch more energy and then throws the foul play. which is a really awkward situation to be in. As the opponent now comes in with a Trevenant, this game's pretty much over. I don't know why they would be running ABA Ghost, but you know what? There are some strange teams in the Go Battle League, and I'm sure y'all are very well aware of that, so... good game, I guess. I mean, that whole team kind of just destroys this unfortunate, poor band of monkeys, so... getting into the next game, we got Wiggles on the lead, and I'm not really sure what we're going to deal with here. This is just kind of a battle of fast moves and Trailblaze and Icy Wind, and it's just going to be a mess here. But we're going to see the Trailblaze get fired off first, and then the opponent will, I'm assuming afterwards, go for the Icy Wind to knock the attack stat back down. Just like that. There it is. Okay. Now, I think that you just stay in and just go for those confusions, and you just hope to goodness that you're going to be able to get rid of this Wigglytuff, and the opponent doesn't want to give up a shield here. As two fighters in the back, they are going to have to do some work, but thankfully the opponent decides to let it go. Shadow Victory Bell comes in, and now, oh no. Annihilate comes in to get annihilated by the ice. Oh my goodness, dude, this is too much damage. There's no way that Annihilate survives long enough, so immediately going to come in with the Primate to try and get to another move, and the opponent's Victory Bell is not getting to a Leaf Blade here. Perhaps they were going to just try to shield and farm down, but they let it go because they have no shields left, of course. And there's Basti in the back, the opponent playing a stranger version of the Wigglytuff Victory Bell Bastiodon line, and gets absolutely dumpstered in the back because they're running Bastiodon, just like you should, because you know Bastiodon is bad. Bastiodon is not good. Bastiodon, y'all know it. It's terrible. Clearly. It gets dumpstered on by fighters, and that's how it should stay. And that's the end of the video for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm sure you're about to click off, but real quick, just stay with me for a moment. As this Friday, I'm going to be doing a move timing class on Metafy, so anybody who signs up can get it. There's a link in the pinned comment and description. It does cost a little bit of money to get in, but it's an hour's worth of content for you, and you get a recording of it afterwards. So if you're looking to get a lesson on move timing or just get more information on it, it's a really good resource. Go ahead and check the pinned comment description for that. And I'm going to check you guys in the next one. Thank you very much. Catch you. Bye.